Today's video is brought to you by Card Kingdom, and right now you can get this sweet Scoop Soldier sticker when you order over at cardkingdom.com. Just mention in your order notes that you want a Scoop Soldier sticker when you go to checkout. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So this week, we're going to be looking at some sweet Theros Beyond Death decks, but things are a little bit weird. We're in that strange point on the Magic calendar where Theros Beyond Death, it's out on Arena, it's out on Magic Online. We had pre-release in paper, but the set isn't officially out in paper yet, so we don't actually have tournament results. So we're going to be looking at sweet decks from around the internet, with many of them being decks that we played against during the big Arena preview stream event and looked really sweet and really impressive. So today, we're talking about Bant Enigma Pod. This one we played against multiple times during the streamer event, piloted by William Huey Jensen, and oh my goodness, was this deck impressive. This deck looked absolutely insane. So let's talk about the insanity of Enigmatic Incarnation in Standard. Oh yeah, I should also say before we jump into it, these decks were originally played in Best of 1 Standard, so I added a sideboard just for the sake of having it there for Best of 3, but keep that in mind, the main deck is the one William was playing. Sideboard I had to add in because there wasn't a sideboard included. But anyway, a quick reminder before we break down Bant Enigma Pod for Standard. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So, Bant Enigma Pod is an Enigmatic Incarnation deck, and Enigmatic Incarnation, it's basically a once-a-turn birthing pod. At your end step, you can sack an enchantment. If you do, you can search for a creature with that enchantment's converted mana cost +1 and put it directly onto the battlefield. So the idea of this deck is we have some enchantments, and then we have some creatures, and have this weird kind of birthing pod-esque curve where we're looking to play enchantments, get a little bit of value out of them, and then sacrifice them to get a creature that we can get even more value out of. So to really understand how this deck works, we got to kind of look at it in two parts. Unlike actual birthing pod, where you're just chaining creatures, we got to look at the enchantments we're playing to sacrifice to Enigmatic Incarnation, and then look at the creatures that we're tutoring out with Enigmatic Incarnation. So as far as enchantments, we start off in the 2-drop slot with Omen of the Sea, basically an enchantment-y version of Preordain that sits on the battlefield so we can sack it to Enigmatic Incarnation, and Wolf of Haven, a little bit of ramp, another good sacrifice, so either of these can be sacrificed to get a 3-drop, and they both give us a little bit of value. Omen of the Sea gives us direct value. We get to scry 2, draw a card. Wolf of Haven hopefully ramps us into Incarnation, and then we can sacrifice it. In the 3-drop slot, we got 2 ram spells. Dryad of Illicing Grove just lets us play an extra land drop, fixes our mana too if that's relevant. Omen of the Hunt is a way we can ramp for 3 mana and then sacrifice. So either of these cards, in theory, put an extra land on the battlefield. Dryad does need us to have an extra one in hand, but they put an extra land on the battlefield, and then we can sacrifice them to get a 4-drop. As far as 4-drops, this is one of the weaker spots in our curve as far as enchantments. We have Thassa Deep Dwelling. We can tutor it out as a creature. We can also sacrifice it to get a 5-drop if we need to, but really, Thassa is very powerful in this deck because many of our creatures have enter the battlefield triggers. So really, we often want to find this as a creature, let it sit on the battlefield, and just blink our other creatures for value. In the 5-drop slot, we got one option, Elspeth Conquers Death. This is a really sweet card for Enigmatic Incarnation. It comes down, it exiles one of our opponent's things with converted mana cost 3 or less. In theory, we can leave it on the battlefield to get more value, reanimate something, or we can just cash it into Enigmatic Incarnation, snag a 6-drop creature right away on our end step. So basically, 5 mana, remove something, tutor up a 6-drop, put it on the battlefield, all in the same turn, which is great value. So those are our enchantments to work with Enigmatic Incarnation. Also worth mentioning, we can sack additional copies of Enigmatic Incarnation to our first copy, so that's another way we can go from 4 to 5 mana. As far as the creatures we're tutoring out, if you look at our curve, we're mostly starting at 2 mana with enchantment. So our curve is 3, 4, 5, 6 primarily, with a little bit of 7 mixed in. So we can sack our 2-drop enchantments to get removal like Deputy of Detention, card draw in Setessan Champion, or Knight of Autumn, which does a little bit of everything. Life gain to stabilize while we're potting into our bigger threats. It can blow up an artifact or enchantment, which pretty relevant in a world of Theros with tons of enchantments running around. As far as our 4-drops, which we can sack 3 mana enchantments to find, Archon of Sun's Grace, Base, Elite Guard Mage. These are kind of card advantage cards, essentially. Elite Guard Mage gains his life, draws his card. Archon generates card advantage in the form of Pegasi, as we are casting more enchantments. Plus, these also stabilize us, gain up some life, help sure that aggro isn't going to be able to jank us out of the game before we get to our most powerful stuff. Then we have our 4-drop creatures. We talked about Thassa already, great with blinking, all of our other stuff, like every turn blinking a Knight of Autumn, for example, very powerful. An Elite Guard Mage should draw more cards, very powerful. Spark Double can double up as a copy of anything. Then in the 5-drop slot, we have Cavalier of Dawn, Tolsimer, Friend to Wolves. So these are essentially removal. Cavalier of Dawn comes down, blows up anything, opponent gets a golem, we don't care, our board is going crazy. And then it's also worth noting that when Cavalier of Dawn dies, we can get back an enchantment, which we can get back one of our 2-mana, 3-mana enchantments, and then start the chain over again with Enigmatic Incarnation to get more value, get more creatures. Tolsimir can fight something. Then we have our card advantage 5-drops. Cavalier of Gales draws us a bunch of cards, turns on Thassa almost all by itself into a big 6/5 indestructible. Golos snags a land for us, so pretty decent value there as well. And then at the top end of our curve, our 6 and 7 drop, we have Dream Trawler, just kind of Baneslayer Angel-esque, Prognostic Sphinx-esque, big lifelinking, drawing us cards, very hard to deal with since we can discard a card to give it hexproof. And then Agent of Treachery, insane with Thassa since we can keep blinking it to steal more stuff, steal more stuff, steal more stuff. And that's the basic plan of the deck. Play random enchantments, get down Enigmatic Incarnation, do these weird value-y chains, and one of the powerful things about this is we can snag these silver bullets. If our opponent has a Fires of Invention, we can snag Knight of Autumn to kill it. If our opponent has a creature or planeswalker, we can grab Deputy of Detention. If we need some card advantage or life gain, we got that covered as well, so we can snag silver bullets, very similar to old Birthing Pod decks. Mana base, a bunch of shock lands, a few of the temples, the scry lands, Fabled Passage, some basic lands. In the sideboard, we get some more creatures, Deputy of Detention, more removal, Knight of Autumn, another catch-all, Apostle of Purifying Light, good for black aggro decks, and also Graveyard Hate against Escape mechanic. Aether Gust, Devout Decree for some removal, Mystical Dispute, Delvin's Veto to fight against more controlling style decks, and that is Bant Enigma Pod for Theros Beyond Death Standard, and that's our instant deck tech for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.